saw the place where the possible met the impossible and moved toward it. They walked for many an hour and many a day, until, finally, they crossed the edge of paradox.
Greetings, humanity. Welcome one and all, to something slightly resembling the actuality. I'm Jim, your friendly Lacuna GM. I use he/him pronouns, and this is our Invisible Sun campaign, The Edge of Paradox. Invisible Sun is a surreal slice-of-life game by Monte Cook Games. We are integrating the directed campaign, but most of this game happens spontaneously, as will become painfully evident shortly. Let's go ahead and go around and say hi to everybody. And find out once again who they are and who they're playing, starting with Djinnaya. Hello.
Drats, I knew it was going to be me and I didn't get ready. Hello. My name is Djinnaya. My pronouns are she, her. And I will be playing Shah Gamelan, whose pronouns are also she, her. And she is an established gallant of the Order of Makers who cages adversaries.
Excellent, excellent. And now let us head over to Arras. Hello.
I did the same thing. Hello. Nobody has their microphone on. I'm Arras. My pronouns are she, they, and today I'm playing Eroshka Rizik, Aromatic Empath Apostate, who converses with everything.
Excellent, excellent. And now we shall head over to Anino. Hello.
How's it going, everyone? My name's Anino. I use he, him pronouns, and I play Mac the Husk, an ardent of the Order of the Goetica who provides a vessel for spirits, and they use they, them pronouns.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And finally, let us head over to Danielle. Hello.
Hello, I am Danielle. I use she, her pronouns, and so does my character, Vor Maravanas, aka Vor, a connected ardent of the Order of Weavers who shepherds minds.
Yay! And unfortunately, Wilde is not with us this evening, but I believe they had a previous engagement this evening. But we'll hopefully be back with us soon. Like we do with the other games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, hold up a card or make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it, or we'll put it behind a veil, so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. And finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think maybe that might have been a little too much, then everyone else can respond to that again with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. Then we're also using the pause. If any of us needs to take some time, we can ask for a pause in the game while we discuss things or just take a break for as long as anyone needs. As a reminder, a few content warnings. This game may contain body horror, surreal imagery, spiders, and references to memory loss, death, and existential crises. And at any time, you can type !ISCW, and that will show that there. I should actually put that on rotation so that it will pop up regularly. That was the thing. You know, every time you start streaming and you think there's something I've forgotten. That won the prize this time of the thing. I didn't set the timer for it, so I will do that now as we speak. And ISCW is the command. There we go. Okay, so that will also pop up regularly as we're in the chat as we're going. Oh yes, that's right. I also need to add. I do need to add one word to that. As far as another thing that's potentially going to come up, so that is also listed there, and that is snakes. We have kind of mentioned that before. I'm pretty sure we have mentioned snakes before, but I just want to make sure I've got it in there. Okay, there we go. So that's possible. Did it update? He will type it in again and check. Yes, it did. Excellent. Okay. Oh, hey, dog. Hi. Also, please remember that we have an open door policy, which means any of us and any of you can feel free to step away from this at any time if we need to. It's just a game, and mental health is always more important. So, let's see. Things happened last time, I'm pretty sure. I know, I was there. Things happened. They happened in front of me. Did I go back and watch the last episode again beforehand so that I would remember what things they are? Absolutely not. I should have, but I didn't. So, best as I recall, and you folks can help me out with this, I know that there was a thing where you decided to check out Yestervale because and in the meantime, in the interim, Isabel and the angel would hunt around the house seeing if they could find the observatory, which is kind of going to be helpful if you want to get away from this place at any point in the future. If you want the party to be able to, I should say. You can get away, whenever. All you have to do to get away is just board a train. That was a thing. I believe that the angel did warn everyone. The angel, by the way, just as a reminder, the angel's name is Sascha. I managed to get through the entire last session. We revealed the name a couple of episodes ago. I managed to get through the entire last session without using their name. But Sascha did pull someone aside and kind of mentioned, just one quick little thing, and this Duchess that you've been working with, kind of potentially a criminal back in the Pale, just so you're aware.
I mean, I think we've all done things that might not have been, completely in line with the law, except for maybe Shaw.
I'm pretty sure it was me, and that my immediate response was, "I also am a criminal, so."
I think we're all kind of.
I don't know.
I'm a very good girl.
Yeah.
All right, except for Shaw.
Even Mac will attest to that. Shaw is completely above board.
Except for that pesky thing of trapping people.
So when
in
the angel
cages
goes back and looks up all of us, one will be fine.
I don't think Hiroshika was ever arrested for anything.
Wasn't it illegal?
I don't think there were any charges pressed of any kind against Hiroshika.
It is not illegal to endanger the universe.
That's right. I mean, fair.
I didn't just endanger it, I destroyed it. It just came back, so...
And aren't we all lucky?
And also, I think, to be fair, I don't think Shantano has done anything that might be considered
Illegal?
illegal.
Shantano just has some dubious dating partners.
That's fair. We're
Honestly,
just
to be
concerned
fair,
about what Shantano's
Eroshka
going to
doesn't-
do.
Honestly, to be fair, Eroshka doesn't actually know whether or not she committed any crimes. She just
Yes.
doesn't remember, but people always
That's
seem really shocked, like, to see her. So she's just sort of assuming.
Very striking. She was very striking. And her deeds are very striking. So
You just try the timeline. There's no evidence. Yes.
yes, precisely. Thank you for posting that.
And then if you wipe your own memories, there's even less evidence.
That's right.
Wow. Except for all the people who are like, it's you! And it's like, sure is, who am I?
Did you wipe your own memory? Is that what happened?
No idea, but I don't remember, so could have been.
Strange.
Big shrug.
I don't know.
Let's just say it wouldn't shock me.
I don't know. Honestly, I just want to put this out there. Any kind of thing that big, I would actually, if I was thinking of suggesting something along those lines, that would be something that would be entirely in your court as to just whether or not you wanted that to be a part of your character or not. So that's entirely that's up to you if you want to have that to have been if you want to be the one who deleted your own memories.
I distinctly remember something in one of our investigations before where somebody said, that's why you chose not to remember.
I mean, I'm into it.
There have been certain.
Now, whether we did it to ourselves or asked somebody else to is a matter, but there was this whole element of the paradox and the unwritten. There was an element of the last time you tried to look for this, it went so poorly that you decided not to remember. So.
Thus, history is doomed to repeat itself.
That might have been said by someone. Now, I will still say, if you want that to be true or not, that I am going to leave that up to you.
Okay.
Because that is a thought. That is a thought. Yeah. In all seriousness, as I'm playing, as we've all been playing the game, the sort of the fast and loose game of like you're slowly remembering stuff. There's all. I want to make sure I'm keeping consent in mind on this kind of thing. So please absolutely let me know if I'm like starting to edge up toward anything where it's like, I kind of would rather have that, is something I kind of would rather determine myself, and I'm perfectly happy with that. Now unfortunately, my problem is that my memories get deleted in real life. So let's see, what were we doing? Oh yeah. So as far as recent events go, though, they went to those who were here present went to start checking out Yestervale. It's a town that does, as part of its economy, does have mining going on, and there is. I discovered minutes before we started here. I discovered that apparently there is a map of Yestervale that I have yet to integrate into the thing. But I looked at it, and the thing that the problem with showing the map is that it has things on it that have not been discovered in character yet. So. Right now, apparently the map is just for me right now, but it will perhaps appear in the fullness of time. But I shall do my best to describe things appropriately. There was also another thing that I neglected to throw into Roll20 that we can go ahead and. I can go ahead and throw in there. Actually, there's one thing I can show you that that you may wish to see. Let me go ahead and pull it up to near the top, and I will make it so that folks can see it. This is the sign for Yestervale that everyone will be able to see upon entering the town. Those of you who entered the town by normal means, that would be Aroshka and Mac, saw this sign going in, and it is in the handouts just beneath the Indigo map. I have pulled it up a little bit, so that's there, and it tells you that basically a little thing telling you that the population is 14,732, roughly. So it's not perhaps incredibly small, but it is. It is sort of its own contained community, and that's kind of sort of what we're looking at with that. Also, let me just see if I have this other thing that I just picked up. Yes, I have this other thing that I'm going to go ahead and add in to be revealed later, because there's an image of a thing that we're probably going to use shortly. So I will go ahead and place it there, and then we will have it later. In any case, that said, so they went over to the ice house. That was kind of where they wandered over, and they had a little meeting with the person who owns the ice house, or at least seems to be in charge of the ice house at present, not necessarily full owner. And that individual, when you went to the ice house, that was Goodman Heyman. Basically questioned Goodman Heyman, and Goodman Heyman advised you that they were gathering that as far as the ice itself goes, they were gathering the ice. That the ice was for Balak. He couldn't describe Balak to you, or you figured out it was a person. He couldn't describe who that person was, and similarly. And so you were starting to think about that. Similarly, as you were heading back toward town, you were thinking, we'll see if we can get brunch, as you found out that apparently the place in town that serves people tends to just do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They're very sort of, they're very much a 3 squares a day town, this town. And so
we're deeply offended by that.
We're going to jerry-rig some brunch.
So there may be there may be some brunch negotiation. Yeah, that's right. You tried to tell the guy that Shantano was in fact Balak because the guy couldn't describe Balak to you. You got the sense that the guy didn't quite believe what you were saying. Also, similarly, you met back up with Goodman Jonas, who was around, who was basically returning a wagon, and Goodman Jonas remembered that he'd asked you to come to the town, but he could not remember why. And apparently he too had heard that the ice was for Balak. He didn't really know anything else beyond that. He wasn't sure. And that is in fact where we left off, I believe, as you had sort of found this out, and I think you were. Now, were you continuing to head brunchward, or were you headed somewhere else as we're starting? Because you're going to have some people fade in, and I need to know where they're fading in.
I would like to posit that we're always heading brunchward.
That's fair.
It just is different. Sometimes we take a little longer. It's a little bit more of a circuitous route. But we are the slant of the universe is brunchward.
Yeah, philosophically speaking, that makes a great deal of sense. I think I should probably write that down, actually.
Make a good T-shirt.
Slant of the universe.
The
Is
universe
Brentford.
bends for brunch.
That's a good thing. That's a good thought. I'm gonna have to note that. Okay. Yeah. So what was happening there? Where were you folks wanting to be? Those of you, Shantano will be fading out, and where were Arushka and what were Arushka and Mac gonna do?
I think Mac was perplexed that their lie did not actually work. And in fact thought that, maybe we need a more direct route to the truth by someone who could root around in someone else's mind.
Didn't we? We're gonna go talk to the headman guy. We're gonna do that first.
No, we did talk to the head of the ice house. I don't think there was anybody in town that we were going to talk to directly.
I think they talked about the mayor to you a little bit, but that was about that, like the mayor's in charge of distributing the ice at this point. But that was, I think, the only other thing.
I think you wanted to go and try to lie to the mayor.
Oh. So is this when Vor and Shaw just appear back from the right?
Where are you?
I think we were still talking to the guy who recruited us. So we are standing in front of his cart, really. I think we tried to. I was thinking of hijacking his cart, but then we ended.
So he was turning his cart in, so he actually had... Yeah, it's off to the side, and people are coming over to grab it, but they're not there yet. If you want to hijack it, yes. As this is going on, and Shantano is fading out, perhaps perplexed as well that this hasn't. And I'm trying to remember actually if the lie, it's kind of everyone was there, but anyway, as whether it was Jonas specifically. I felt like Jonas was. No, Jonas was. No, I think if I'm recalling correctly, you actually were lying to you were lying to Jonas, and Jonas kind of didn't believe it and was walking away. Was concerned now and was walking away. The card is still there, but I think if I recall correctly, Jonas was actually heading out. It was like heading back into town. It was like good to see you, and he sort of was heading off, as he was not. It sort of made him concerned. Yes, the Vor and Shah are going to fade back in from the gray as you're here, and so you're on this kind of you're out in the scrublands, sort of a hilly area in the scrublands. You're near this path by this big sort of this building that is constructed of wood, painted gray, chipped paint, wood and bricks. It is an ice house, for there is a large door through which people are bringing these large blocks of ice that they've got those clamps around. Do you know the ones I'm talking about? Hunks of ice. They're not really blocks. They're hunks of ice. There's down the hill where the path leads to what looks like some cavern entrances, where they go down and they mine the ice. You have something like about a dozen very tired-looking miners who are in there. Sort of, they're a little dusty, not in the way that coal miners get dusty, but they've got the dust of the caverns as they're heading up, and they're wearing those that are heading up or are bundled up to go down into the caverns. They're in heavy coats and sort of the hoods. as they're sort of heading up, and then the ones that are not down there, there are a few just sort of lying splayed across a couple of benches out here, and, because they come up and it gets warm because you're out near the desert, so they've taken off. The ones that are sort of taken off or taken off just the coats and are just sort of lying splayed there on the benches, and that is to your southwest. And to the northeast is the bridge that goes across a river and down into the town of Yestervale. So that is, and there's a sort of network. You have sort of a town square that you can see from there, and a few buildings. You're on the opposite side from where the rail station is, which you can kind of see across a little bit, where the train goes, and it's where you have what is sort of basically the I thought they said it was the end of the line, and yet I'm looking at an image that shows me more rail line to the south, and I have to wonder. Perhaps it's just nearby the edge of it, and very far across on the other side are some pig farms on the other side of the town that you would have seen approaching as you approached, and so that's probably one of their other economic things that they have here. They have the ice and pigs. Those are their staples in the town of Yestervale.
Wait, do the pigs make bacon that give you certes?
I don't know. I don't think the pigs are quite as potent as the ice. The ice is really kind of probably a little bit bigger than the pigs.
Because I was thinking brunch was going to be even more amazing.
It might be. Who knows? Who knows, indeed. What wonders are coming? Are coming forth?
I feel like this is an untapped market.
So as I come in, can
What,
I
magic
see
pork?
Can I
Yes.
see Goodman Jonas walking away, or
So yeah, like
is he gone?
well, yeah, you see him at a distance. He's crossed the bridge, but you do see him.
Okay, and I kind of like yell, "Goodman Jonas, hello!" And then I turn around and say, "Did we already talk to him?"
We did, but I didn't get much out of him. He seems to have forgotten why he asked us to visit.
Wasn't it something about some kind of bad magic here?
Wasn't it about
Yes.
forgetting?
Well, if it's about forgetting, then he clearly
Well-
was prey to it.
He kind of you do see him sort of turn from far sort of distant as you're waving, and he's sort of shocked for a second as there's like, oh God, there's more of them. Type react. You don't hear him say that, but that seems to be the reaction he's giving, and he's just sort of like, he nods, then he turns around and just starts walking away again.
So you said that he didn't seem like he remembered us, right?
He
Can
remembered.
it just be like he didn't remember the details because he knew who we were, or like that he'd asked us to come here?
I could try to take a peek.
I mean, I'm kind of concerned that we're walking into this town, and it sounds like everybody wants to pay homage to this Baylock person, but no one can describe who Baylock is.
Oh,
Could be part of the reason we're here.
Right.
True.
And those mushrooms did say something about a suspicious man that's creating a cult of
the
sorts.
Rattler.
Well,
Yeah.
the Rattler was something from the blue, though. Although I suppose Baylock could be the same thing. I'm gonna try to go ahead and read Goodman Jonas's mind.
Okay, quick note. There were beings of the blue, of the night side of the blue, being led astray by someone, by the Rattler.
Gotcha.
What
Okay,
the
so the Rattler
about.
could be Baylock. Got it.
But you would like to read Goodman Jonas's mind.
Yay!
How far away do you feel how close do you feel you need to be when you do this thing?
I feel like I need to be within sight, but like there's no. Oh, it is within close range, so I probably do need to get a little closer.
Okay. Yeah, you can totally catch up with him. You're just going to be in the town.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So yes. So Vor is heading that way. Is everyone else also, or is everyone else doing other things also?
I'll head to backup 4, just in case.
If it's in the direction of going in town, we might as well head in that direction.
Righto. I shall draw a card. I have drawn a card. I can tell you most definitely that of the things I could have just done, the thing I did was to draw a card. Okay, and let us see what we have drawn. We have drawn the Questing Knight. That is the Apprentice of Visions. The Questing Knight, the Apprentice of Visions. I am now going to open some documents that I should have had open already. See if I can... Gesundheit.
Thank you.
Questing, can I get... There we go. The Apprentice of the Visions family, the Questing Knight, is a stalwart and focused individual seeking justice, but over the long term. The quest is long and hard. Success, however, comes to the persistent and the determined. In divination, this card suggests determination is needed for success, but it indicates that such success is within one's grasp, particularly if such a turn of events is just and right. It can also mean that success still likely comes only at the end of a long journey. Okay. All right, cool.
A mostly positive card.
And so that is the Apprentice of. So it does not change the. Right now we don't have the. We're not under a particular sun since I swept all the pieces off the board and we're starting again. Let me go ahead and, however, open this other thing that I would like to have open because it will help me to exist as a person, if nothing else. Let's see, Invisible Sun System Reference. There it is! Because in here, it will remind me what apprentices do. I hope. Does it talk about the Sooth deck in here, or is that... There it is. Excellent. Okay. The Apprentice, -1 to all actions if heart matches family. So anyone who has a Visions aspected heart, then you're going to be at -1 to anything until we flip another card, which probably won't be too long. So I'm actually looking at the rules. Okay. So yeah, but no, you're gonna get down there. You've headed over over the bridge, and you are now. Let's see here. You headed over the bridge, and he was starting to head down a right-hand branch down that is heading in the general direction of the town square, between these somewhat rustic buildings that look probably nothing like this, but I've gone ahead and put rustic mining town buildings here just in case they might help. As a reminder, again, and well, not a reminder, but those of you who have just popped in here, you see this is basically a lot of these old buildings. These are people who are all dressed much the same way Goodman Jonas dresses. They have a lot of them wear basic black or black and white. They seem to enjoy suspenders a lot in this town.
Is this the Saturine equivalent of the Amish?
There are certain similarities. It's not quite the same, but it's there are certain inspirations I feel were drawn from the Amish, probably for this for these folks. And everyone's very, and sort of going around. Everyone's sort of very nods and is very polite. And you are noted as strangers, but they do not. No one seems disturbed by you.
Yet.
Then we're going to introduce them to the concept of brunch, and they'll change their minds.
I know. That's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. But you catch up with Jonas at an intersection that again is heading roughly in the direction of the square. Jonas sort of will look up kind of semi-nervously as he sees you all approaching. Unless you want to sneak up on him, in which case that's also possible. How do you approach Jonas?
I don't think I'm trying to sneak up on him. Like I'm just trying to. Well, in part too, because I can only read surface level thoughts. So I actually am going to have to walk up to him and then say something about this Baylock person to him. So
sure.
try to get a better read on why he can't describe Baylock. So yeah, I think I'll just run up and say, Goodman Jonas, and I'll wave a hand as I come up, and then I'm sorry, I zoned out a little bit there for a second. The others were talking to you about someone named Baylock.
Yes.
Can you tell me anything about him?
Thought you had him there with you, didn't you?
And I would like to be trying to read his mind, trying to get what his mental image of Baylock is while I'm.
Okay. What? Jonas, Goodman Jonas, is as it turns out, level 6.
Okay.
What sort of stuff are you throwing to do this?
So this is a level 2 ability.
Okay.
And I have 2 die because it's magic.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember this system because I haven't rolled in it in a year. So I have to exceed the number. So I have to exceed a 4, right? 4 or above? Or is it below?
I think it's 4 or above, if I've
4 or
been
above
doing this right.
system. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He says, trying to remember. Oh God!
It's been so long.
Yeah, I think it. Yeah, I think this is a thing where it's a target number. So yeah.
Okay. I will spend 1 point of sortilege. Or wait, no, I can use my skills as well, right?
Yeah. You can use a Bene.
Yeah, I'll use one of my. So I have my charm skill. So I'm talking to him, having a conversation.
Okay.
So I'll use that. So that gets me to 3. And I also have my skill in magic that lies outside codified practices, if that's applicable here. I don't know what Baylock is doing, but if it is.
I'm trying to remember a thing. And by thing, I mean rule. Let me see here. Hang on. Wait a second. Hang on. Skill. So bonus from skills. Yeah, okay. No, it's your skills work toward it.
Mm-hmm.
And Benny is extra, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Brain. How many levels of that of magic outside of codified practices do you have? 1? Okay. So that I'm going to go ahead and knock it down to a 2 for that.
Okay, cool. I think with 2 dice, I think I'll roll at that.
Sure. Okay.
Well, I got a 2.
So
I also got a 10.
Yeah. So we have Flux.
That brain is extremely red.
Oh.
Fun times.
I like how Jimmix is really excited about Flux right now.
I'm about to get way more than I bargained for. Woo!
You're going to go into his head to get his surface thoughts on this. This is a level 2 ability, so it's not going to be. I feel as though it's not going to be the worst possible flux one could get. Just trying to get his surface thoughts. You're going to get his surface thoughts.
Yeah, I was trying to get the thoughts that he had when I spoke about Baylock.
Yeah. What are you, So, out of curiosity, what are your surface thoughts right now?
Bora's surface thoughts, well, brunch has been promised, so food is definitely on her brain, but probably not at the top. Kind of, I guess, a general sense of curiosity, and also if someone else here is mucking around with people's heads, she wants to know who the competition is.
Excellent. Okay.
The competition.
It's important to know
This is how
these
she
things.
sees the world.
This is my playing field. How dare you?
Yeah.
I mean, it's fair. I think actually I'm supposed, if I recall, this is again me looking at references, and I'm like, oh crap, these are rules that I probably haven't used in a while. I think I'm actually also supposed to flip another card when this happens, but we haven't even done anything with this card, so I'm just going to use this one.
Thank you.
And so, yeah, so there's this strange kind of like rush as you're looking in, and the surface thought that you're getting is you're getting kind of just sort of this image of and it's weird. The way that the thought is coming to you is kind of weird, because you get this metaphor that appears in your head, and it seems to involve Aroshka and Mac holding up what is apparently a. It looks like Shantano, except it's made of paper. Then you can hear your own thoughts about brunch for just a split second. You hear your own thoughts about brunch and about competition echoing through his head for a moment. And you get the feeling of like that, and you sort of get the sort of this this thought that that's like, what are the, and some of his other surface thoughts you get are like, have I made a mistake in bringing these people here? Are they trying to undermine the town? And then the thought comes in, wait, they're looking to eliminate their competition. They are trying to undermine the town. The town must be defended.
Oops.
And then there's this argument going on in his head as to who shall this strange sort of, it's not quite an epic poem, but it has the feel of one almost, of like, who shall defend the town from those who dare maraud us? In the sense that not everything is quite right.
Wait, so given that his train of thought is like, we have to defend the town, and he's now thinking of us as enemies?
You are creeping closer to the enemy box.
All right.
He's not completely there yet.
I'm debating if I want to hit the reset button. Okay, before I hit the reset button, for Baylock, all I saw was this like image of Shantano, but I didn't get anything. I didn't get anything else.
Yeah, it's actually strangely absent. There's, you would think when you say something, and you know how to say things to people to get them to think of people that they know.
Yeah.
This guy probably doesn't know Baylock.
Okay.
Either that or Baylock really is Shantano, but, that would be its own problem.
So then I am going, because I just screwed up, I am going to try to use my idea theft ability to just kind of snatch that concept right back out of his brain so he doesn't think about us as bad guys anymore.
He is attempting to pull away from you as this is happening.
Yeah, that's fine.
And is concerned because he's now hearing things in his head. And
we're going to fix that in a second.
He's trying to get away. He might be about to call for help.
Yep.
He's about to make noises.
If I succeed, he's not going to say anything.
So what are we doing?
So this is my idea theft. It says you steal an idea from someone's mind. If you succeed in an action with their level is the challenge. No cost, but on a fail, you cannot try again, and they know you tried.
So his level is 6.
Oh no.
Yeah. So 6. Okay. Can I reason? So the ability is level 7. I don't know how that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I feel as though if that's the case, and he doesn't have anything, I believe it's resist is the one that would add on to.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that. And so I think if assuming that I have my maths correct and my memories of these things correct, I think you can just do it. Then if that's
okay,
the case, since it's level 7, you're using a level 7 ability.
Yeah, I am.
So yeah, that subtracts everything he has.
Out of pocket right there.
Yeah. So. So
we'll just scoop that concept right out of his brain that we are enemies and just take that away from him.
How much are you taking out with it, just out of curiosity? Just the idea that you might be enemies, or is there anything else you're deleting?
No, I think just the idea. I mean, because there wasn't really anything else. Like he didn't seem to know who Baylock was. So it says I have to steal an idea. So I was gonna say, I'd love to erase his memory of the fact that we even had this exchange, but I can't do that. I don't have that ability yet.
Okay.
And so I just want to scoop the idea that we are enemies or that we are like invaders or like attacking the town, like right out of his head, so he doesn't think that we're bad guys anymore.
Yeah, I didn't mean that when I was thinking competition. No, that's totally
that's what I meant.
Okay.
Panic.
So you do that as he's backing away, and he's like, and he seems to calm down a little bit visibly. He just sort of stands there for a second, And he's and then he's just sort of like, maybe it's probably best if you not. Maybe it's probably best if you not.
Well, you brought us here because there was something wrong. Is there anything you can tell us?
I have no idea. I do remember. I remember meeting you, and I remember asking. I remember asking you to visit.
Yes, that's why
I
we're
don't
here.
remember as it was in relation to anything that was wrong. Exactly.
You said there was some kind of bad magic happening. No, not ringing any
Well,
bells.
it seems as though someone's bringing magic into town, and I'm a little concerned about that.
Well, you did ask for 5 Visley to come help. I don't know what you expected.
I don't know what I expected either, because I can't. I just don't remember the rest of that conversation. I'm sorry.
Goodman Jonas, if it's okay, maybe you should just come sit down with us and we can just chat. You can tell us about your life and what you do, and maybe we can figure it out from there.
And so he's looking with some mild suspicion. He doesn't have like the panicked suspicion that he was starting to get a moment ago. And he says, "Can I ask that you refrain from, shuffling around in my noggin, please?"
Oh, I was just trying to get an image of Baylock. I'm sorry. My apologies.
You want to know what a person looks like, you ask them. That kind of is more what we do around here.
My friends did ask, and you weren't
Yes,
able
and
to
I don't
provide
know,
them.
and I have not met the man.
We were just checking to make sure there was nothing untoward happening with your memories. Since you don't remember the conversation that we had.
I mean, I talked to a lot of people a week ago.
Yes, but it's a bit unusual for an entire conversation to drop out of your memory.
I don't know. Sometimes I have a chat with somebody and I forget 5 minutes later.
All I can go is off of what you gave us when we initially talked, which is there was some kind of bad magic. So I just wanted to be sure that bad magic wasn't impacting your memory.
Are you sure you're remembering right?
Oh, yes, I'm quite sure I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah. You're very certain.
Yes.
You gave us ice. You said that
Yes, I remember.
you said that you needed Visley because you didn't have someone here who was a Visley who could handle this.
Yes, we don't usually have Visley here. Yes.
Well, you wanted some.
I mean, we're always welcoming people in. I mean, do you happen to recall if I said much about why?
Just that there was something wrong, that there was some kind of bad thing happening here in Yestervale.
Well, I'm sorry, I just don't know. I don't know what that might be. And I think it's going to be more or less at this point, as you're having this conversation in this area, that someone's going to come up to you as you are talking. And this is a woman with she has long hair, very nicely styled hair, and she has she's wearing a black suit, like basically everybody else here. She's coming in from the direction of the ice house. But she actually, but it looks like, for those of you who have not been participating in the conversation, what you see is that she was, she came down and was turning down toward the ice house, then looked and saw that you all were talking to Jonas, and then has turned around and is approaching you all. As she just sort of is looking everyone up and down, as she just sort of calls over, Jonas, is everything all right? We have visitors. Oh, hello. And she's looking around from person to person. Visitors from Saturnine. Oh, you're all from Saturnine, are you?
Hello. I'm Vor. I'll hold out a hand.
And she will shake your hand. And she, you see that, this black suit that she has is actually pretty. As you're getting closer to her, you see that she's very nicely dressed. Actually, it's very, it's a tiny bit upscale. And she says, "Good woman Faraday. I've got. I was just heading over to. I was just going over to look over some things with the ice house. Is there anything I can help you folks with? You seem to be new to town. Do you need directions?"
Looking back at the rest of my group.
We were just catching up with Jonas. We met him in Saturnine on his delivery there, and where would we learn more about the history of yesterday?
Well, few different sources, and as Jim looks back at the list he has here, if you really want to find out, if you want to talk to someone who knows all about the history of this place, you should probably have a chat with good person Bristol. They know they've got they're a teacher here. They pretty much head up most of the education in the area for some of the older children, they know a great deal about this town. They're actually right near the town center. If you like, I can show you.
I look around at everyone. Shall we go learn more?
That would be excellent.
Sounds like a capital idea.
Are you some sort of a manager at the mine? I saw you walking down.
I'm one of the owners.
Oh.
So just going to go up and just do a little bit of bookkeeping.
Well, lead the way. I mean, if you don't mind.
Oh no, it's quite fine. It's absolutely fine. I can get back up there in a little bit. It's just this way. Jonas, will you be joining us as well? I actually have some things I do need to take care of soon, as I've got to just register about the wagon. Oh yes, that's right. We really should be letting Jonas go if we can. He's quite busy.
Oh, it was never our intention to keep him long.
I'll see you folks later, he says, and just sort of waves cautiously at everyone and sort of backs away. Faraday's like, this way, please. And if there is no objection, she will lead you all toward the center of town. Yeah, Bristol is right off of the town square, just a little bit of a ways down. Just a little bit of a ways down from the mayor's house, which is also off of the town square. It's like in a little road off of the town square. And so as you're getting down there, you see some of the bigger, older buildings. And as you are kind of approaching, let's see. Yes, as you're approaching, you will go back over here. Yeah, you'll see that this house. It looks like much like all the other houses in this town, except it's a little bit bigger, better appointed. I'm going to actually go ahead and do another card at this point. We'll see where we are here. Okay. It's card number 25. We have drawn the Enticing Jewel. This is an invisible card. And it is in visions. It is in visions. So the Enticing Jewel, let me grab the description here. The light at the end of the tunnel, the brass ring, the center of the target. The object of our desire lies before us in the form of the Enticing Jewel. We want it. We have to have it. It represents beauty, but the side of beauty that demands attention and probably possession. It is the beauty that can sometimes call to our darker natures. It brings out greed, ambition, and selfishness. In divination, when the Enticing Jewel is turned, everything focuses upon it. Most of the time, this is one of the most positive cards that can be revealed. It indicates success in one's endeavor. It suggests beauty and wealth. At the very least, even if not actual success, the Enticing Jewel is the potential for success, which in itself can be encouraging because sometimes there is no possibility for success. Still, the card has a darker side because it also suggests greed and a love of wealth and the dangers of such things. So yeah, you see this house actually has a sort of a symbol, like an atlas symbol. And in this case, it's sort of above it. And in this case, I think what I'm meaning is you have sort of the globe with... Would it be a globe? We'll call it a map symbol. Above the doorway. There's a big knocker on the front that shaped like a swan. And she heads up. Here we are. And she's going to go ahead and she'll knock on the door, with you. She'll stand there long enough to, because she's going to make an introduction for you. So she raps on the door, and in a few moments, the door opens, and you see Good Person Bristol. This is sort of a slightly heavyset person. They are wearing they're wearing a vest, no jacket, and they're indoors. And they have so they're not wearing their hat, but right now they have 2 pairs of glasses on. One is kind of up above, and the other one is on their eyes as they're looking in down at you. They have a sort of a broad, very kindly face as they look down from their step, and he sort of looks, Faraday, and says, Bristol, these folks are from out of town. I think they're from Saturnine, and they wanted to learn more about the town's history. Oh, I'd be delighted to go over some things. Certainly, absolutely. Do come in. And will you be staying? No, I've got business. Okay, well, no, that's quite all right. Just good to see you. Good to see you. Yes, do come in. Come on in, folks. And he'll leave the door open for you.
After y'all.
I will click clop my way in the door.
Okay. So inside Good Person Bristol's house, it does not take you long before you see there are many books in here. It's not. You've seen more impressive collections of books in Saturnine, but this has very much the air of a collection that he gathered himself, or they gathered themselves. This individual. So you sort of brought out into this living room / den, where there's some nice furniture, a big sort of sort of stuffed couch of the type that people's grandmothers have, and a recliner type deal. As well as maybe not really. I think they're simpler folk. They wouldn't have recliners, but it's sort of another sort of big, nice, sort of comfortable chair, and there's a fireplace, and it's very important to include fireplaces whenever possible. And there is, there are bookshelves several bookshelves that run almost to the ceiling of this house, which is center of town. It is a 2-story house, so first floor ceiling is rather what I should say. And so this house is both big and cozy at the same time. It's one of those. Not magically, it just is. If you've ever been in you've been in a house like that, I'm sure, before. And they're an enigma in some ways. But basically this fellow is like, so can I get you folks something to drink, or
Oh, I'm good. For pull out our champagne flute, tap it on the table and fill it up.
Nice, very nice.
But my friends may want something to drink.
Just some water would be fine.
He nods. They nod.
Tea, if you have it, please.
I was just getting ready to make a pot.
Lovely.
I'll partake in some of that tea as well.
Ah, very good. And they will head over, and you can see that they've got a kettle that's actually very, very near the fire. So they set the kettle over the fire. Would they actually be? I don't think they'd actually have the fire. They'd actually have a fire in the fireplace right now, because of the time of year. So actually, what you were going to see is they're going to go into the next room, and you can kind of see into the kitchen, and there's a big sort of pot-bellied stove there, and that's where the kettle is currently. But
as he walks out of the room, I'm going to whisper to Mac and say, I'm sort of glad Shantno isn't here. I feel like one of these books would have definitely left with him.
I feel like that would certainly be the case, yes.
Entirely possible. I will use this as an excuse to pour my tea as you see this sort of action happening.
Good
Three-dimensional
special
props.
effects, Jim. Very good.
Hey!
Also, I just want to point out that because of the way that of my lacuniness currently, this is void tea, apparently. But in any case, yes. So you can see he's basically getting his the tea service ready and all that. They're getting the tea service ready, and they put all that together. And you just sort of hang out and wait for them to come back when the tea is ready, or well,
I'm
yeah.
gonna poke around and flip through the books. Like, is there a theme? Is there anything that's out of place?
Let's see. A lot of it has to do with the. So there are a lot of different books. It seems that they have them grouped sort of into. There's some histories, and there's a decent amount of fiction. There's a lot of fiction. Various types of novels. There are, so those seem to be their primary interests. There are some books on art. There are some books on music. And they've got books about different. There's a sort of, and then there is a very very big section on geography, including a fairly hefty section about the sort of the different places out in this part of the Indigo, and the different people, the different flora and fauna, that sort of thing.
Interesting. What was the name of, does anyone remember what the name was of our, like, cephalopod, half Visley, travel the world person?
Ah. I can have it in a moment.
Did
Yes.
one of you befriend them? Who was that?
Was this the person on the train?
No, it was at the Eternal Party in
Yeah.
the beginning.
Oh.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
so long
yeah.
ago.
Oh
I
God.
remember.
There
I
may be
remember
some
this.
of those books. Yeah, some of those books may be here too. Let me look. And I can grab that.
I don't know where my notes are from that.
Don't be afraid. Everything will be fine. Let's see. Yes. Let me see if I can find that. Reopening chance encounter number 1.
Oh, I think it was
Araya.
Chanteneau. It was Chanteneau who befriended her because they were talking about change.
Yeah, that's true. There was, I think one of the rest of you also spoke with her. Her name is Araya, Auriah. She's got a jelly. She bonded with a jellyfish, not on purpose at one point, some time ago, but it's sort of they've lived together as a single entity since then. And she did talk to Chanteneau about that. That sort of gave the story that this happened to her when she was visiting one of the half-worlds on the out on the archipelago. Yeah, she basically does a number of travel logs, and some of those are here.
Oh, fascinating.
So yeah, you can see as you're just sort of looking through. Is there anything in particular you're looking for, or he has a couple?
Not-
He has like 2 or 3 of her travel logs here. and which things that talk about this sort of the Of the Wastelands series, basically. So there's a series of 3 books that is kind of like People of the Wastelands. There's Sites of the Wastelands and Entities of the Wastelands. Those are the 3.
I will pick up and start flipping through Entities of the Wastelands.
Okay. There's some there's some interesting stuff in there. A lot of different things there. Yeah, there are those hounds that are around these parts. I can't remember.
Doggos.
If we talked about them, I don't know. There's several different there's several different things in here. However, as you step back in, you continue flipping through. They don't seem to. They seem to notice that you've got the book. As they're coming through, as they're coming in, and says, "Oh, find anything you like?"
Oh, just interesting. I've met her.
Oh,
The woman who wrote this book.
Oh,
Arras.
have
I was just. She got along better with our friend Shotno, who isn't here, but yeah, so I was just looking at her perspective on here.
nods.
Here.
And he says, yes. Came through town just about, I want to say about 5 years back, maybe, possibly 3, 4 or 5 years. I'm not sure. It was a while back. But no, very interesting. That's very interesting chats with her. It's a nice lady. He's pouring. They are pouring tea, and they present the tea to those who requested the tea, and a glass of water as well to whosoever it was that requested the water.
It was me.
Okay. I can't remember.
Water.
They have like cream and sugar available if you want it. The tea does not do anything exciting, I'm afraid.
What?
It is. I know. It is the tea of simplicity.
I will sit back and drink my tea and figure I've done my job by making us seem like we have something in common, and then let other people talk.
There you go. First rule of making connections.
Okay, well then, seeing that Shah is like retreating back into her shell, what we'll say is, so we just got here, and we, we're just passing through, but the town is lovely, and we would love to hear more about the history, particularly the recent history of the town.
And they sort of are settling down across from you all, as you are seated or not on different bits of furniture here, because there is the sofa and then there are chairs, as one sometimes finds in a domicile, and so it's like, recent history. It is. We had I think the biggest thing that happened was a couple of years ago when we had a little bit of a drought, and so there was some problems there. We had to up to up production in the mines for a little while, and for that time that was kind of rough, unfortunately. As these things do all come around, don't they? But we had that, we've had a few that, and then it happened just about 6 months, I think, to the day afterward, when we had what I believe is the in Saturnine they refer to as the Grand Aurora passed by, which was rather a nice thing to see. It was over yesterday for a few days, but in so doing, there was a decent amount of art and poetry that came out of that. That was very good, and they will proceed to talk about some interesting points about Yestervale and things that have happened recently, and a certain degree of rambling appears to be beginning. But they will pause to let you ask questions if you so desire, so it is not an inescapable ramble.
Okay.
Highlights also include that apparently the present mayor has been mayor for some time. Let me just check to see if there's a fact in here I need to make certain. But present mayor has been mayor for a while, and it's mostly been after getting through the drought. There were a number of things that sort of got put in place to try to help bolster things. That was when they started sending more folks out to other places on circuits, and it was really the annual circuit that was one that they said were starting up again, that Jonas currently does to Saturnine with the ice. There is apparently a certain amount of trading that goes on. There is a desert to the south, and there is not much trading that goes on with the desert to the south. There is some trading with the places to the north that you've passed by, and the place, the town where the Enigma restaurant is. So there's some trading that goes on there, but there was essentially they have built up their pig farm into something of a colony industry, and apparently there is motion toward making it into a bigger thing. And encouraging tourism, because
To the pig farm?
to the pig farm, yes, as it's becoming something of a theme park to a certain extent. As one can, you will go to a farm and go to a petting zoo, and they will give you hay rides and things of that nature. It's that kind of thing. So there is apparently a plan in place to have that happen. And they have not gotten a huge amount of tourism from it yet, that town to the north. But it is something that might be picking up, it seems. And those, I think, are the biggies, as far as that goes. As far as the recent stuff, and you get the impression as they're talking about the recent stuff, they will occasionally make references like that there were, not necessarily as juicy as some of the stuff from a few, about 100 years ago when, when there were some very interesting murders, that kind of deal. That some folks would occasionally, so they, they'll kind of, talk about, but all manner of rambling stuff that goes on.
I will, Vor's gonna wait and see, if her friends have any questions first. But eventually I'm gonna ask about the Rattler and see if there's any information we can get. But I don't. There's a potential for that conversation to go south, so I'll hold off until other folks have had a chance to ask questions if they have them.
The one thing I want to be clear on is that when he says drought, does he mean lack of water? Like, does he mean water drought? Because it was like we had to increase production of the mine, and that doesn't really make any sense.
True.
Drought?
True. Yeah. The production of the mine. They're speaking more of the export of crops and pigs.
Okay.
That it wasn't quite bad enough that. I mean, they're by a river, so that helps a decent amount, obviously. But when the drought happened, the town's economy, to a certain extent, does involve trade, and so to make up for some of that trade, they had to increase production in the mines. That's more sort of what they'll sort of clarify when you ask about that.
I guess Mac is going to ask. I'm sorry. So why was there a need to increase production on the mine?
And he says, well, around the time that the drought was happening, they say, around the time the drought was happening, essentially, was we had to make up for the loss of trade income that we get, and so we sort of tried to do that to increase that a bit to get some to be able to have more stock to sell, because the thing is, the ice does very well the closer you get. The Redivivus does really well when you get closer to Saturnine, and so we did. I think we did all two tickets. We did. I think Jonas might have actually done 2 circuits that year. I think we might have pressed him into service on that. But so yes, and it's not like now. It's a different. We've got a different deal going on right now for the UPS production, but it's hopefully it'll be a little easier. But as it was a few years ago when that happened, that was just mostly to make up for that.
Could you tell me who your biggest purchaser of ice is?
Oh, well, my understanding is these days it's Baylock.
Is that why production is currently increased?
Yes, yes. My understanding, it's from what I hear, it's big. He's a big client, and so that's apparently just his practically. I hear he's got some of the miners running a little ragged at this point. They just can't get enough of it.
Is Baylock local?
Oh goodness, no.
Oh. So this is an export sort of thing.
Yes, that's right.
Where is it being exported to?
No, they haven't really said. But that's all handled apparently. He hasn't really said. Apparently, he's got a lot of clients over in different places. I think he's one of you folks.
So Baylock is a
Baseline?
Yes.
Or Baseline? That's the wrong game.
wrong game. So is Baylock based out of Saturnine?
I can only assume. I mean, that's where most. I mean, not every. Obviously, my understanding is not every Vizsla is in Saturnine, but so I can't be sure. But
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I would guess.
Does Baylock have any proxies or agents in the area that kind of handle the purchase?
Nope, just does it personally, from what I understand.
Oh, so he comes into town periodically then?
Yes, yes.
Have you ever met him?
Seen him before. Haven't met him from a distance. Comes in a wagon with. Well, you can tell that it's that they're of his son because he's got these driven by these very large infants. Seems like in front of the wagon.
I'm sorry, did you say infants?
Infants?
I really didn't get close enough to see for certain, but that's kind of what they looked like to me, I'm afraid. So I don't know what that deal is. But no, that's where the ice goes.
Does so and I'm
But you saw this. You saw this Baylock from a distance.
Yeah.
What does he look like?
From what I was able to tell, I wasn't like I said, didn't get up too close. Big fella.
Big. How big? Like.
Oh, probably.
You know,
Well, I mean,
just-
it was probably like 6'2", 6'3", something maybe thereabouts, roughly. I think he had a mustache.
Does he come through on a schedule?
That I can't be sure about. Actually, as far as I haven't been able to tell if there's a schedule. But now Mayor Tambley would probably know when it is he's coming in next.
Okay.
How do we get an appointment with your mayor?
Oh, you can. He sort of he says, pointing in the direction, sort of somewhat pointing vaguely eastward. He says, yes. Well, her office is in the town hall, just a bit of a ways down. You can inquire there.
All right.
How long are you folks going to be in town?
Oh, not long. I mean, we're just on vacation, passing through.
Yeah, as long as the mood takes us, but not long.
We don't have any specific plans.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. Well, if you need, if you have, if you're looking for lunch anytime soon, that should be that should be over at the Red Thistle. Is the place that we have here for folks coming through. He says, checking to make sure that's the correct name. Yes, there it is. That's usually for folks coming through looking for the train. And there's a hotel in town, and we do have a hotel in town. It's called Mist Maids.
Mist maids?
Yes.
As in misty maids, or as in we had maids but we missed them?
More the meteorological variety, I'd say.
So speaking of staying in town, I just have one other question, which is, are there any health risks with the mining? I did speak to someone who seemed rather disoriented.
There has been, we have had, we have quite recently, we've had a couple of people collapse, and a few people collapse, and my understanding is that, we have had a few people collapse. My understanding is that a couple of them did not make it.
Oh.
I think they were just interning one of them. They were just interring one of them this morning.
Oh, we did see that. I didn't realize it was a mining accident.
Well, you know, they're working
typical
very
in
hard
ice
right now.
mining.
No, they're working very hard right now. That's the thing. It's you got to come up from there. It's very cold down there, and if you don't come up every now and then that's bad for you. And then also, you know, if you work yourself, you get hypothermia really easily.
So it was clearly a case of, you know, exhaustion and hypothermia and not something else.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Okay. Just wasn't sure, given that the properties of the ice appear to be sorcerous in nature.
Oh yes, it's very popular for that reason amongst the folks outside. It's very helpful for that. It was from what I understand. I have not in the history of the of us having the ice. I've not seen it I've not heard of it having ill effects in that fashion. The ice does seem at least safe to handle.
Okay.
From what I
We
understand.
totally have them.
But then again, it probably also, the thing being, my understanding also, and you can correct me on this, is that it's more, such things become more volatile when they are in the hands of Vizsla,
Indeed.
perhaps. Or they can be, right?
Certainly.
Yeah. So, it's probably one of the reasons why it sort of works out that it's there aren't any sort of native to this place.
Do you get... Is like coming here often?
Not too often. Happens from time to time. Some of them come down to. We've had a couple who've come down to see the who've actually some of the folks who've read those guidebooks. Sort of gestures to the book in Shah's hand, and who want to come and see the area. So we've had a few of that. We've had one or two. We've had I think probably I heard there were one or two who came down when we opened the when we opened up the pig farm to visitors. And so that might be doing that's a good sign. That's a very good sign. So we get them from time to time. Not that often, but it does happen. I'd say at least half a dozen to a dozen times a year. We get at least half a dozen to a dozen Vizsla a year. So it's a little unusual, actually, so many of you showing up at once.
Well, we're like, package deal.
We enjoy traveling together.
Ah, well, that's excellent. That's excellent.
We're starting a blog.
Oh. Interesting.
Yes, actually, we usually eat brunch everywhere we go, but someone told us you couldn't get brunch in this town.
My understanding, yes, we do. We do keep to rather to our regimens typically.
We found that rather odd, considering you've got this lovely pig farm.
But yeah, that a lot of the other some of the other Vizsla who've come through town also did ask, sometimes do ask about brunch. It does seem to be a fairly popular game, and of course, when the
Vizsla do love brunch.
If you want to increase tourism, I highly recommend that you open a nice brunch spot in town.
We could write a review of it on your blog.
Yeah, we could help drive some tourism traffic here.
Well, that you might want to talk to the mayor about specifically. It sounds like an interesting idea to me. I don't know as how much it would hold water, as I'm just more. I myself am. Well, I'm a little bit rebellious. I only do 2 meals a day myself. But it's not something one hears a lot. The most we had is generally, like I said, when the Vizsla came. We're back in. Apparently, there were times back in the old days when we had a little more. There was another establishment out here that was owned by the Marilyn family back when they were active, those folks up on the hill. That you must have passed them coming into town.
We met the Duchess
the big
in the train.
house.
Oh, there's someone up there now. Huh. You did hear about... Oh, did...
Hear about what?
Well, that... There was a bit of fallout with them a number of years back. And this was, like, close to, I want to say, like, half a century ago? About a half a century to a century?
Really?
Oh, there's been some trouble every now and then. Some of them actually were it was suspected. It was never proved that some of them were connected to those murders that we that I mentioned before.
Oh.
Were they the murdered or the murderees?
There were a couple of them that were suspected of causing the deaths that had happened. As there was a suspicion. See, they've had magic up there for some time. You know, they're mostly Vizsla and that family, there were a number of deaths that were believed that were brought about by that had magical causes. We thought it was the only cause that at the time apparently that looked right to the people of the town at the time. And honestly, it's hard to say because on the one hand, the murders haven't been solved. It's still been it's been a century, but it's also, I think, honestly, looking at the account of it, I think there may have just been there was a certain amount, and you'll forgive me if I say so, there was a certain amount of distrust of people who would gregariously wield magic in these parts back then. Now, we don't worry about that quite so much these days. And, that's we made up with the Marline family. I'm fairly certain, they had, back when, to the point that they were operating a business here. Or at least owned a business here about 50 years ago. But it has been some time since they all well, they all either vanished or died out, from what I heard.
Oh, what business was it they ran?
And says, I believe it was. And he's sort of scratching his head for a second, and they're sort of scratch their head for a second, and they're like, I believe it was. That was plants. Plants and fungi.
Oh.
Oh.
And they'd sell some of these things and offer. They'd also certain type, exotic vegetables, things of that nature. They'd come out and they'd sell them as sort of. They come and sell them just on their own, or they'd sell them as sandwiches and what have you. And I believe they did do brunch there in that location. I think that was the last attempt that was made at, because they're Vizsla, so then of course they're going to be interested in that. As far as I'm given to understand. Yeah.
Interesting. I have one more quick question.
Yes.
We've talked to a few people in town. We heard rumors about someone or something called the Rattler. Do you know anything about that? It sounded very intriguing.
Huh. Rattler. I gotta think about this real quick. There's a thing. Okay. So he will say, okay, all right, we gotta be careful how we do this here. All right, he will say, Rattler. The Rattler? I mean, are you talking about like snakes?
It was the Rattler.
Huh. I know there's a fair number of rattlesnakes down in, there are a few gulches south of town that have quite a population of them.
No, this seemed to be something unique.
The Rattler, huh?
I don't think it's a snake, an actual snake. Or
That wasn't the impression I got either.
It rings a bell.
Yes?
it's a
I'm not
person
sure.
using the title.
That I'm not sure. It rings a bell, but I'm not sure. I can't say where I'd have heard it, but it does sound familiar. Maybe I might have probably read about it somewhere. There's probably some reference in here somewhere. Do you know if it was? Do you know where it comes from, or what?
It was something
in a
in
story, or something else.
It was something about. It had some connection to the blue, I think.
The blue. Well, I don't really. I can't say as I've got much on the ways of what you call the actuality. I believe is the term. Yes.
Yes.
Huh. Those other sons, as you call them.
Sorry, my mother is texting.
Oh, okay. I hope all is well.
I might want to do something here real quick, kind of quietly. Does it seem like, because he says they say they remember something?
Yeah.
Like vaguely. Do they kind of have the same, when they say that, the same kind of cadence like that Goodman Jonas did about not really remembering our conversation? Like, am I getting kind of the same vibe?
No, actually, it seems the vibe that you're getting is that this is genuinely like, I read something somewhere, maybe.
Okay. All right, because if I thought it was maybe magically induced, I was going to try to do something to reverse it. But
yeah. It's fine. I mean, it could be, but the sense that you get just sort of conversationally is, if it is, then it's a very good job, because conversationally the sense you get is that no, that sounds familiar, but I can't remember where I heard it.
Okay.
And they say, well, I don't really have any. I haven't really read up much on the other sons. That's not something we really kind of any not really in my wheelhouse very much, I'm afraid. But no, I don't. So I don't reckon it probably. If I've, I don't reckon it would be that. No, it's not coming to me. I'm sorry. If you can find any details or something, I can probably look, have a look through. He says, gesturing the books. Just got to kind of get a direction,
Of course. Question for my other players: do we think it's worth it to try to help this help good person Bristol remember?
I think it's a good shot.
Is it hard? I mean, it's like, if it's something easy to do, I don't see why not.
I mean, I can. So Weaver magic is really loose, but with the aggregates that I have right now, I could weave understanding, strength, and illumination to try to boost good person Bristol's memories and recall capabilities. And I don't know what that would get us, but I could make the attempt.
If it's safe, I think it's worth a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have sorcery left from all of your earlier stuff, then I would say
I do.
go for it.
And I can refresh a pool if I need to. I will. Okay, we had a negative reaction to magic earlier, and Vor's magic is a little bit invasive. So I think, to say the least, so I think Vor will say, well, if you don't mind, I mean, obviously, Vorfus, do you mind if I cast a little something to help you remember.
And Gotta look at the thing real quick. At that, when you say that, they shift uncomfortably in their seat, and they say, I don't... if you don't, if it's all the same to you, I'd rather not have folks crawling into my head.
Oh, it wouldn't be anything like that.
Oh. Are you okay?
It's nothing.
Are you sure?
It's nothing. Oh, certainly.
You seem like you might be ill.
Oh, no, just fine.
So would you
We got
be
a little
okay
winded for a moment.
would you be
Talking
okay
for a
with
while.
me? Yes.
Go ahead.
No, would you it wouldn't be anything like, it wouldn't be inside your head at all. Just something to strengthen your abilities of recall.
Like a supplement.
And they just sort of look, or like they sort of look in the direction of the fireplace for a moment, and it's like, and they're like, I'm sorry, I'm a bit hesitant to try anything like that. I appreciate the offer, but I think I'm gonna have to say no to that.
Is there a fire in the fireplace right now?
No.
Okay. So it's a bit of a weird place for them to just be suddenly looking.
That is true.
All right. Well, if you change your mind,
Yeah,
Here
of
we
course.
are.
It's like, is there well, I appreciate you folks coming by. Was there anything else I could do to help you? I can get you directions to the. I can give you directions to the Red Thistle and to the hotel if you like.
That would be lovely. If you could maybe write them down for us.
Oh, certainly, absolutely. And they, I'll just be a moment. And they stand up and they go over. They walk over. They have to go into another sort of a little nook to their roll-top desk to fish for a little bit of paper and pencil.
Fantastic. I would like to pull out my Viewmaster, and I would like to look at the fireplace and record my exact image that I am seeing of everything in the fireplace.
Okay. Remind me, if you would, how the Viewmaster works, both in game and mechanically.
So the Viewmaster works. Well, it's an object of power, so it just works. I already put the magic into it.
Gotcha.
So that's the mechanic. And then the way that it works in game is that it records my ideas, or records exactly everything that I'm seeing in its totality. so that I can review things. So if I look at an object or if I come up with an object, I can review them and discuss them with people later.
Gotcha.
In a way that provides clarity.
Remind me what the Viewmaster looks like. We are all about to be reminded what the Viewmaster looks like.
That was exciting. It looks like,
So
Oh, it looks like an actual Viewmaster. Okay.
but it's filigree and made out of metal.
Excellent. Okay.
It's a very fancy viewfinder.
You raise the Viewmaster. I'm actually going to draw a card real quick. The previous card is still in play for this for reasons that will become apparent in a moment. But, oh, look at that. Okay.
Well, that's not good.
Well, it might be, actually. This is number 58. So let me set us over to that one. So,
But angels are my friends.
they are, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, Angel. The Angel. This is the defender of notions. And let me see if I can get to the appropriate spot here. No greater representation of goodness, light, or justice exists than the winged form of an angel from on high. Left behind as part of the legacy, they attempt to aid, to teach, and to protect. However, some angels also pass judgment. Their vengeance can be terrible to behold. Their anger is something no mortal ever wishes to experience. Thus, the angel represents both the open palm of altruism and the terrible fist of retribution. The angel is the defender of notions. Its light ensures that they are kept safe. In divination, one should take this opportunity to look for an ally or at least shelter. Someone or something out there can help the person in question. The angel brings justice as it passes judgment. As long as one is not found wanting, this card turn suggests that external forces bring assistance or succor. Remind me what the viewfinder is meant to see one more time, if you would, please.
It will record for me everything that I'm seeing, even the things that I'm not registering that I'm seeing, so that I can look them over later.
Understood. Also, +2 to actions for those who have a heart matching notions for the duration of this bit. So, do you usually see things? Oh yeah. You can see through it.
Mm-hmm.
What does it usually look like? Does it look like when you look at things through a viewfinder, like a smaller prism, or what is it?
Yeah, so it looks, I think it sort of freezes it, and maybe it looks more 3D than 3D. Like,
Gotcha.
instead of looking through it and seeing what's there, it's like a hyper realistic, like uncanny valley feeling of looking through it.
You note two things. Two things happen here. One is that the first thing that you note briefly is you seem to capture just the tail end of some kind of movement in the shadows of the chimney. In the shadows of the inside the fireplace. For just a split second, and then it's gone. As though the shadows inside shifted for just a moment. And there is this, as is appropriate for what I think for the enticing jewel that we have spoken of recently. This thing that you can't, and you know, immediately you can't, you know, there are things you're not going to see, but if you review them, perhaps you'll see more of what that was. A little breeze blows through from somewhere, a different direction. Maybe there's a window open. It's not exactly a divine breeze, but perhaps it could be considered something almost like one. Coming in through a window where the sun is coming down, beatifically. And the book in your lap, this volume that you have been leafing through, Entities of the Wastelands, by Araya, flips its pages for just a moment and lands on a particular page close to the middle. And the entry on that page is for some sort of entity called the Insidious. And I think that may be where we conclude tonight.
All right.
If we are good with that.
I'm good with that.
Okay. We have gone through, and then there are things.
Yay, things!
It's a shadowy picture of something on the page. It's dark. Looks a little worm-like on the page of the book that you're looking at. I will say that much. Oh, we have reached a point where you're starting to find some things out, and some recent divine.
We stumbled into plot.
Yeah, some recent semi-divine providence of card draws have perhaps assisted with that to a certain degree, I think.
Finally, the deck is on our
We
side.
got some really good cards today.
Yeah.
The deck was like, these people keep avoiding the plot. It's time to unavoid the plot.
Here, have some plot.
This is like the most plot we've gotten in a single session ever.
Yeah. The deck just basically said to me, here, have plot.
Have plot will travel?
Yeah, it's kind of how it works. Awesome, excellent. Well, we're going to go ahead and do our Joy and Despair, our check for Joy and Despair to see if anyone had got any this session. So we're going to go ahead and go around in our standard order to check on that. So once again, we go over to Djinnaya. Do you think Shah got any joy or despair this session?
I mean, it's not huge. I think she could have gotten a joy for like helping her friends, for like showing up and using her weird maker schmoozy skills to try and get them into places. That could be a joy.
Yeah, you did get the conversation onto a productive track, so that was quite helpful, I think. So we could totally
Shah does like to be productive.
Yeah, this is true. We do have a joy there. Awesome. All right. And we're going to go over to Arras. Do you think that Arushka got a joy or a despair today?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think a whole lot happened in Aroshka's world today.
That's fair. On the upside, not so much history to deal with today.
True. The evil brain Aroshka did not make an appearance.
That is correct. Of course, if you would like her to, then you know that's totally a thing that can happen. But it just depends. But Nell and Anino, do you think Mac got any joy or any despair today?
No, I don't think so. He was he was letting others do their thing this week.
Yeah. No, totally. And Danielle, do you think Vor got any joy or despair today?
I think Vor gets a joy because there is a mystery here around memories, and that brings her joy because it's something for her to solve and someone for her to be better than.
Excellent. Yes. Yeah. There was a lot of mind intensive stuff today. So
yes.
All right. Awesome. So we're delving deeper. We're getting closer. And you happened to go, and it's funny really because the place you went and the things that were available were like the things that were like, here, if the PCs happen to look through the books. Like, okay. Well, there we are. And combined with that card draw, I was like, no, they're just gonna, that's just gonna happen. So very cool. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and do our outros. Feel free to tell folks where they can find you and any final thoughts you had about this session, favorite bits or what have you. And we are going to start with Danielle.
Hi, I'm Danielle. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at @RyRackandTor. You can catch me there for stuff about games, cosplay stuff, books, anything nerdy, really. You can also catch me not tomorrow, but the following week on twitch.tv/Scott's Case Files, where we are playing the new Modifius 2D20 Dune system. Our campaign is House Guild Run. We are a house of entertainers. And I am playing our resident super dramatic Bene Gesserit. So you can come watch me there. It's a good time, I think. But not tomorrow, next week.
Nice. Were there any final thoughts you wanted to give on the session? Or are you good?
I'm really excited to like dig into this arc. There is something super wrong in this town, and I just got like hairs raising on the back of my head. And it's making me really tempted to spend my crux on more of Vor's forte abilities, just so I have more memory, mind reading bullshit to use against whoever is doing things to this town. So we'll see.
Awesome. Absolutely. Very cool. And now let us head over to Anino.
How's it going, everyone? My name's Anino. You can find me on Twitter at Anino Gaming. I'm not sure what my schedule is going to be like this upcoming week, but I'm pretty sure we'll definitely be here next Saturday for another exciting episode of Invisible Sun. That's it. And as far as today goes, it was just great to see Shaw and Vor be able to use their powers and advance both the plot, but use them in interesting ways. I really miss that. So
yeah, me too. It's very cool. And over to Arras.
Hi. Sorry, Google chose that direct moment to stop having any audio come through. So I was like watching on Twitch and was like, I see my name.
Oh no.
Anyways, I'm Arras or Animus. I'm Animus Panthera or Animus.Panthera practically everywhere on the internet. I am a professional zoologist. And also cosplayer, and the only place you can watch me play games right now is right here on Saturdays playing Invisible Sun. Yeah. Other than that, I love to chat about things that I'm interested in, animals, cosplay, art, whatever. So catch me on Twitter.
Hey. Any final thoughts about the session today or anything?
I think just the same, that it was really nice to see everybody getting to use their powers in cool and interesting ways in this town where everybody's forgetting everything. We can all fit right in. Nobody knows anything or what's happening.
That's right, I keep forgetting. They have something in common with Visline more now. We've forgotten everything too. Excellent.
This is how we'll convince this town to like us.
It's important to make connections. It is.
Yep. Start with something in common.
That's right. Excellent. And finally, over to Djinnaya.
Hello, my name is Djinnaya. I make things and play good games with nice people. And yeah, you can find me here next Saturday, and you can find me on Twitter. I don't know, yell at me on Twitter because I haven't been on there lately, and I don't know. Yeah, and as far as the game, Shaw is having a great time in this tiny town, and I, Djinnaya, am convinced that we are going to be framed for murder for being magic people. I personally am very concerned about the anti-Visley sentiment in this town, and I'm like, this is how we get burned at the stake. That's how that happens.
That is why I panicked and
witch burnings.
That is why I panicked and spent 7 sorcery to correct my mistake, because I am worried about the same thing.
Oh, those concerns that was decades ago. They're fine with Visley now. Just fine.
I'll just tell our hotel room to warn me if anybody tries to come in unexpectedly.
But poor Shaw is that person who's goes into, Arkansas and is like, who wouldn't want to work in tech? She is that person. She's just like, who wouldn't appreciate me for being a Visley? Everybody must. So that's gonna be great.
That's interesting. I wonder if any of us,
so I'm here for it.
I wonder if any of us have really encountered anti-Visley sentiment before.
I mean, we were in a war.
That's true. I mean, that's true, but was anti-Visley sentiment or just anti-particular groups of Visley sentiment?
I mean, I feel like there's going to be there is some sort of anti-Mac sentiment out there. So
there has been historically.
There has been historically.
Admittedly, we've run into a lot of people not super fond of Erotica either, so maybe it's just us.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows, really?
I'm here for it, so.
Excellent. Awesome. It is so good. It is so good doing this. I've said this the last couple of weeks, but I'm going to keep saying it. I miss this. I missed this so much. Just the sheer level of bonkers we can get to here. And I'm very excited to get back to keep going and see what happens as we uncover more. But as for me, I'm Jim Ryan, and let me see. I got my script here. Make sure I'm saying the things I always say. You can find me at OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I have links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube channel, and various other things. So on this channel, on Tuesday nights, we are doing a play test of a game I wrote called Genesis Undone. That is a tarot-based story game, GM-less, where we tell the story of a civilization as though it were a stage tragedy. And in this one, we are playing robots on Mars. And it's been delightful so far. Just watching that spiral as things are things are all progressing downward as they are meant to. On Wednesday nights, when we're all available, we have our Scum and Villainy game called Untitled Space Game, where we go about annoying people in space, basically. Our group is just had a thing they were salvaging stolen out from under them, and so now they have to dash off and follow the people who just grabbed it. So they've got to go and figure that out. So that's going to be harrowing. Let's see. Possibly I might be doing a thing on Friday if the planets are properly aligned. But sometime soon I'm coming up doing a guest spot on Cyberpunk Red over on Wandering DM. It just sort of will depend on the on timing in real life and all of that. As I had previously reported, it was going to be last Friday. It did not happen, but at some point soon, probably. And then, of course, that brings us back around to Saturday when we have more of this. And so, very much looking forward to that, to getting back into it. I have not been looking over at the people here, so at the people currently streaming, but there are a few people streaming right now. We might go and say hi to. Let's see. Yes, so Featherfall is streaming and Arras is streaming. So we'll probably go over and say hi to one of them. Feel free to hang on if you are so inclined and say hi to them with us. That again will be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and we will catch you next time. Farewell.